users. So it is the case that when you create a website and you have that website with WordPress.com, automatically your role is an administrator. And an administrator role has the ability to completely have control over every aspect of that website. Now, since it is the case that WordPress is a blog style site, also called a CMS or content management site, you have the capability of inviting people to be contributors, to be editors, to be have other roles as part of your website so that you can expand your site to be a major publishing force. Now, if any of this is something you're not interested in, that's totally okay. But I do want you to be aware of it because at some point down the pike you might find that you do want to expand the ability for others to work on your site in addition to yourself. So in this example, this is my test website, and I actually went ahead, the test website's owner is this person up here, and then I invited myself as an instructor to be also an administrator. This is why you see what you see. But if it is the case that you find yourself being the administrator, but you want to start adding contributors who would post or create content for your website, you would see them listed here also with the roles stated in these little black boxes. So let's look at the roles available. We're going to go over to invites and to the invite button. And what you'll see is in the process of inviting people to have access to your site, you see the roles component here. First of all, what you do is you type in the address. So I'm going to go ahead and type in a fake address, assuming this is real. And once you're done, you hit enter. But you can, in fact, invite a number of people. Up to 10 is what they recommend. And all of them could be given an invite to be a contributor. And you can quickly do a message, hey, would you like to contribute to my blog, to my whatever, news or blog site, ? And then you'll come down and send the invitation. So that's essentially the interface, but let's go over what the roles are. So you can literally go off and just invite people to follow your site, and if they do, the email that they get from this send-off gives them the opportunity to say yes, and if that's the case, that follower goes to the general stats area and becomes the same kind of follower as if they had filled out the little follow widget that you have learned about earlier. In terms of contributing content, editor, author, and contributor is available for you to assign to others. I don't recommend you inviting people to be an administrator unless that person is a partner, unless that person is an instructor like myself. But the point being is, if you invite people to be an administrator, they have full access to everything in your dashboard, and therefore can actually present a bit of a problem if there's a falling out, etc. So keep administration invites to a bare minimum. So let's go over editor, author, and contributor. What you see is the description of what each have as their role, but it's also a description of what access they have to your site. If you invite somebody to be a contributor, they can write and edit their own posts, but they cannot publish, which is a really smart thing to do. And so what you're doing is when they get access to your site, they will only have access to the post component. They'll have access to an editor to create their posts, but they will not be able to publish. So let's see what happens if let me back up. Okay, so if you have a contributor who's gone off and created a post, You can have either the administrator of the website or the editors, if you have a staff who have been assigned an editor level. Those editors can read the contributors' posts and publish them. So editors can access all posts and pages and can publish them. Author. Author can be, if you invite somebody to be an author, they can write, upload photographs, edit, and publish their own posts. So these are standalone content contributors that have pretty much full capability of creating a full-blown post and publish from them. But the contributors contribute basic content. The editors can come in, access that content or access that post, further add images, further add additional content, and then publish. So you can see what's going on here. This is kind of like a newsroom or kind of like any other kind of publishing office where you have different levels of abilities where there's people who generate content, there's people who edit and publish that content, and then there's standalone authors that can have access to the same site, all the same site, and be pretty much a autonomous contributor. So it'll be up to you to figure out who you want to invite, if you want to invite, and what exposure they have to add to your website. Okay, so say that you have done some invites and people have contributed to your site, but maybe they're done with the agreement that you have with them, or they've disappeared and you can't find them and you've got to stop their exposure to your blog. All you need to do is go to the users topic again, click again, and that what you're going to notice is a right-hand arrow to each of the contributors, editors, etc. that are going to be listed here. Come over to the right-hand side arrow, and what you're going to do is reassign them or delete them altogether. Okay, now you'll notice attribute all content to the user or delete the content created altogether. You can delete their content, you can save their content, or you can actually reassign which person's going to get the authorship or the author credit for that content. Now lastly, be reminded that there is a support page for user roles. And again, you can read through more descriptive aspects to each of the roles, as well as other types of interfaces with those. Okay? But it is a powerful time saver for yourself if you find yourself making a website that does create a lot of content, is to start either expanding the circle, adding more people to it. There may be agreements as to exchanges. You might be a guest contributor to somebody else's website while they are a guest to yours. All of that is pretty cool. But just know that that is available to you and through the users component of your dashboard.